Let's talk about last weekend, Utah Valley. Happened again. Lost the first game, won the next two. I'm gonna start calling you guys the Cardiac Cats.
Yeah.
Apparently, you like to make it interesting, but let's talk about that series.
We like winning series. I don't necessarily like the way they started, but Friday was Thursday night was a very competitive game. I think statistically speaking, they lead the WAC in a lot of offensive categories. So to hold them down over the course of 9 innings, you're going to have to score some runs, and it was a typical first game of a weekend series, man, back and forth early on. Neither team really capitalized early, which puts you in the 7th inning in a 3-2 game, and every pitch matters. And they got a couple big 2-out hits, one including the grand slam to get a little bit of separation there. So that happens. I was proud of the way our guys responded on Saturday and Sunday again. And at the end of the weekend, I felt like we did a pretty good job of holding them down. It's a well-coached team. They're a very old team. I think they had 6 to 7 seniors in the lineup every time, and which with that comes physicality, which that comes mature at-bats, and I thought our guys navigated that real well, over the course of the weekend, honestly. They just had a couple of loud swings with 2 outs that maybe put a little heat, but it's good that our guys are getting to experience that here. I wouldn't say early in the year anymore because we're right there in the middle of it, but that's how it's going to be. I think every weekend when you look at the scores across our league, man, they're 1 or 2 pitch games. So every game this weekend was the same. If you could pick 1 or 2 to pull back on Thursday and we win, I'm sure they could say the same thing about yesterday. If there were 1 or 2 pitches better than they win. So that's how it's going to be when 2 teams are playing well, and I'm proud of our guys, how they responded.
And going into that Friday game, that 3rd inning, putting up 8 runs,
yeah.
Kind of that offensive explosion, and kind of talk about that and how good it is to see your team be able to do that, kind of show off like that.
Yeah, no, I think any time you can, stack some big innings together, it just gives you some margin, gives you some breathing room. That's what we didn't have on Thursday night. We had some opportunities we didn't cash in, which makes it a 3-2 game, and every pitch feels like the 7th game of a World Series. It's just there's so much leverage on each pitch and so much weight sometimes. So it was great to get out in front, scoring early, knowing that they're going to score some runs. So having the ability to just kind of hold on there down the stretch, their guys settled in nicely. So they've got a couple of really good pieces on the mound from a bullpen perspective that. They gave them some length this weekend and challenged our guys, over the plate. So to score 8 was great there early, and gave Ian a little bit of space to operate.
And that last game of the series, it seemed it was all the freshmen that had the biggest impact, whether it was Brett or Reese. Being able to call on, true freshmen to be able to kind of help your guys' team, help a win.
Yeah.
How great is that, especially because you can rely on them a little bit more, and they kind of experienced more.
Yeah, dude, we want to hang our hat on recruiting and developing. I think we want to recruit players that can immediately impact our roster right out of the chute. Some guys are more mature and more competitive that sometimes settle in, but hopefully, if we're doing our job, they've got the talent to step right in. But I mentioned to do that against a team that was very old. Again, their lineup, for Brett to go out and navigate that lineup again on Sunday, or I guess Saturday this weekend, was great. And then to see to Reese step up there, he had an RBI earlier in the game with the safety, and then to get the 2 out, or I guess the 1 out hit there in the bottom of the 9th to walk it off after they struck. Those they had all the momentum after the 2 out 2-run homer to tie the game to 4. But Maddox got the double to start us off, and then Reese got the hit. So. No, it's great to see the young guys get some of these experiences early in their career, and hopefully you're looking back at that 2 or 3, 4 years from now, man, they've just got a lot to draw from. When you get in those wars where it's you take a punch, you can get right back off the mat and throw another punch. I think that's where we're challenging our guys right now. That it's okay to win ugly baseball games, man. It's not. The 11-1 games aren't a thing really anymore in the Division I level. You need to be prepared to win a 7-5, a 4-3, a 9-8 game where there's literally the pitch, that the game weighs on every pitch. So what's cool about Reese is he's hometown, right? So that's neat for a guy that's grown up in Abilene to get a big hit. It was neat to see we had a lot of youth at the park on Saturday, and a lot of guys that they go to Wiley, and after the game, some of those kids get to run around on the field and stuff. But one of them, a couple of them actually was like, "Yeah, that was neat to see a Bulldog do it," whatever. So those are great experiences. One for him, one for our community, but 3 just for our team and the morale. That was a big swing.
And now you get to go down to UT, which is always a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
Some ACU Purples down there as well.
Yeah.
So how cool! Talk about getting to travel to UT, take on Texas in that kind of matchup.
Yeah, man. Our next 3 weeks, we've got Texas tomorrow. We've got Texas Tech at home next week, and then we've got TCU at home the following week. So our guys are going to get challenged on Tuesdays. We wouldn't have it any other way. So I know they'll look forward to going down to Dish Falk tomorrow and playing 6:30 game. So we'll load the bus and head down, and hopefully show well and. Hopefully start the week off 1-0.
And then staying in Texas for the whole week, thankfully, taking on SFA. Talk about that team, and then what it's going to take to win that series against SFA.
Yeah, to be honest, we haven't got to that point just yet. We're focused on Texas for tomorrow. We'll rebound and kind of get settled and reset, if you will, for Stephen F. But it's another conference weekend on the road, which is always challenging. We're on a bus this time instead of flying, so that's good. But I know Johnny will have his team ready to play us well, and we'll need to go down there and play well, continue just to try to win series on the road, at home. When you have an opportunity to sweep one on a Sunday, you need to take advantage of it and sweep it, because those are hard to come by in our league. So, the formula will be the same, but we'll see if we've got 9 innings and 27 outs in Austin tomorrow. We'll focus on first.
And then last one. Getting a Sunday off is usually rare in college baseball.
Yeah.
It was Easter, so teammates, family, coaches, everyone got to have a little bit of a rest day. How do you think that'll help going into this week, just health-wise and mentally? Yeah,
no, I think those days are gold, man. It's our guys. We ask a lot of them. Our staff is up here. Our players are up here. I don't think people really understand the weight sometimes of trying to win games at a high level, and there's an expectation of it when you parlay that in with our academic side and what we're asking our guys to do. We've got a high bar set here academically as well, so they're being challenged every day. So it's great to have a day where it's like, hey, and especially when we play at home, because we were out of the ballpark by 3:30 on Saturday, so they really had a 36-hour window to hopefully get away a little bit, reset and recharge. I know a lot of them jumped in their trucks and drove home, the guys that are more local. It was great to see 5 or 6 guys at our church yesterday, just showing up for church. So, I hope they enjoyed the afternoon yesterday. Hopefully it was a lazy, relaxing day. My 3 kids didn't allow that. We get to bounce around and do the Easter egg thing, which is awesome. We'll have a little lighter workload today since we were off yesterday, and then jump on the bus. So I think we've got 4 games this weekend, and we've got one more 4-game road stand. So we're going to be at home quite a bit moving forward. So hopefully, yesterday was a good day for everyone.
Coach, if you don't mind getting in further detail about Reese, how was he able to hit that walk-off, and what are your thoughts from his performance on Saturday?
Yeah, so Reese, I think Reese does quite a few things well. I think he's a good defender in center. He's strong. He's a left-handed hitter, so from a matchup perspective, we've went with him, a lot of times versus right-handed pitchers. He traditionally will find his way on. I think if you asked him, like statistically speaking, are there some areas for him to get better? For sure. But for a young player to step in and have an on base of close to 400, mostly over 400 the most part of the year, and then put together some big at-bats. He's had 3, I think that's, if you want to count 10-run rule walk-offs, that's his 3rd one, to this point, I believe. So he had a couple early in the year where we had some shorter games, but he controls the zone really well. He's a pretty patient hitter. Can strike the ball, when it's over the plate, and that usually leads to some success. So I have no question, the more collegiate at-bats he gets, the better the performance is going to become. We're excited for him and glad he's in our program.
A lot of kids in Texas grow up wanting to be Texas Longhorns. Is there any extra motivation whenever you play that team?
Yeah, I'm sure for some there are. I think Texas is so vast and big. You've just got pockets of you name the brands, whichever parts you grew up in, or where your parents went, or grandfather or grandmother went. So I'm sure we've got some guys that grew up. We've got a handful of guys that are from the Austin area. So love them or hate them, probably, like that's all the other schools in our state. I'm sure there's some guys that would have loved to wear the burnt orange growing up. So for them to go back and play there, I'm sure it's special for them. So we'll get down there early, and they've got a ooh-ah moment to take in the stadium a little bit. We'll do that, but majority of our roster's been down there, and we'll go down there with the expectations to play well first. Do simple things really well, and then hopefully put ourselves in a position to win late.
And Stephen F. Austin, we've known about the football rivalry and the basketball rivalry. This is my first baseball season here. What is the baseball rivalry like between those two?
Yeah, we've got, there's a healthy amount of respect, I think, for both clubs for sure. We've played them Southland, we've played them WAC, so there's some tradition there. Johnny's been there the same amount of time Johnny's been there my entire tenure here, their coaching staff. So, no, there's a good, healthy respect. We'll go down and try to compete well, and just like every other weekend, honestly, just try to put our team in a position to win. I think the older I get, the less I get involved with who we're playing, honestly. You kind of want to play that faceless opponent. There's some teams that may bring a little bit more of that out of you than others, but I think with our league, there's so much new. With us playing Utah Valley this weekend for the first time, a little bit weird. Us going to Sacramento last week, there's a little bit different vibe. There will be some familiarity with Stephen F. Austin with our rosters, having played there before, Texas on Texas. So there's certainly more familiarity there. So hopefully we'll go over and play well.
And four WAC series wins. How does that feel?
It's important. I think for us to keep up with the Grand Canyons and CBUs and UTAs and Utah Valleys, those teams that have been at the top of the league all year, you're going to have to take series when you have opportunity to take series. So, we've got one more week. So after this weekend, we'll be halfway through our league. And then we've got the bye week next week. So, no, the only way you win the league is by winning series, and you've got to find ways to sweep some as well. So I think we're 8-4, sitting right behind Grand Canyon, but right there in the middle with a bunch. So it's going to come down to the last weekend. It always does traditionally. So we just need to keep stacking as many wins as we can to put ourselves in position those last 3, 4, 5 games that if you play well, you've got a chance to do it. So, no, it's good. I think we're in a good spot considering we played a lot on the road. I think when you look at it, I mentioned that before. So we're 10-4 right now at home. So I'm looking forward to getting some more home games here down the back stretch of the year.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you, guys.